Welcome back to the art room, guys. We are going to be making some awesome art today using some of our leftover found objects from our nature walk. Now, we're going to be using these little objects almost like a stamp or kind of like stenciling, and we can make some really beautiful things from it. So I'm going to show you how to do this. We're going to need a few things today. First of all, you're going to need some of your nature objects. If they're dried up and curling, they're not going to work as well. You probably want ones that will be able to be flat on the paper like this. Or I found some really nice leaves on a little Japanese maple tree that would be beautiful like that. So we want some nice little shaped leaves and petals. You're going to need tape of some sort. Masking tape would be perfect. If you don't have masking tape, you could just lay your paper on a piece of newspaper, because we're going to be painting right to the edge of the page or right to the edge of the tape. So tape is great. If you don't have tape, you could just lay your paper on a newspaper. And then you need some sort of paint. Recommend the best kind of paint you can use for this project right now is if you have any of these little crafty paints that come in little tubes like this that normally are like 50 cents at Walmart or something. I know it's not really a good time to go out to Walmart. So if you have any at home, those are great. Or if you have any acrylics from one of these little art kits you might have got for Christmas, those work really nicely. If you have watercolor or tempera paint, it's a little too runny. It's not going to work as well. So you want thick acrylic craft paint. If you don't have craft paint, you could use some mud paint that you made with Miss Hammond. You could make some more of that to use for this project as well. But we need some sort of acrylic crafty thick paint or mud paint, and we're good to go. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tape and I'm going to put a little border around my paper with it. Okay, so I'm going to rip off a piece that's about the size of the whole thing, the whole side, and I want to put it right on the edge so that I know I have it lined up nice and straight. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to put it right on the edge of the paper like that, and now I know I've got a nice straight edge. I'm going to do that with all four sides. Okay, so I got my little border now, and like I said, we're going to paint right to the border. If you don't have tape, we can just paint to the edge, but put a newspaper under it so it doesn't get messy. Now, you're going to use some of these leaves, and you want to kind of arrange them on your page in kind of an interesting way. So maybe I'll put this one here. I found these cute little clovers. Maybe I'll put one right here. That might look nice. Maybe I'll put another little maple leaf right here. And this little piece of ivy. That could look good. And maybe just a plain old leaf up on the top, kind of like that. But you want to arrange them in kind of an interesting way. Okay, now that I've got my paper arranged, I'm going to get some of my crafty paint. I found this metallic paint. It's like a bronzy color that might look really cool. So I'm going to use some of this. You could use more than one colors and kind of mix around, but I'm going to take that and I'm going to get my brush, and very carefully I'm going to tip my brush in the paint just on the tip, and with my finger I'm going to hold this leaf down, and I want to go away from the leaf like this. You don't want to blob it because I'm trying to use the leaf almost like a mask. It's going to be a stencil, so I'm always going away from the leaf. See what I mean? You can hold it down with your finger as you do this. Eventually, you're really not going to need to hold it down because it's going to get kind of blob painted down. But I'm painting away from my leaf in all directions, like so. This is going to be so cool. It moved on me. Okay, so I got that one. Next I'm going to go to another one. Alright. Now, I could have been a little more careful with this, but we can see what it looks like. You'll notice I painted the whole leaf, and I'll show you why in just a second. But if I slowly pick these up, you can see where they were. I've got these really cool little spaces, almost like stencils on my paper. I messed that one up pretty bad. But see how cool that looks? Now, since I have these little stamps, I can take another piece of paper. Let me slide this just a tiny bit. I can take another piece of paper, and with the wet painty leaves that I made, I can press it down on a page. And then with my hands, just very carefully push it in, kind of massaging it down. I can just hear Miss Hammond in the background going, "Ooh, that feels so good." But I can just kind of push that down gently. And if I peel this up, I should have, well, I didn't have enough paint on it. But you can kind of, if you really blob the paint on these bad boys, and I'm making a mess on my hand, but if I get a good layer of paint across that whole leaf, let me try this again with this one. Really pressing it in. I didn't press it in enough last time. When you peel it up, you'll have cool little leaf prints you can make as well, and you could do a whole piece of art like that. Look how cool that looks. Now, the reason we did the tape is because at the end, this is my favorite part, you can peel up the tape and you'll have this nice clean edge on your paper, which looks really cool. It's not going to be absolutely perfect, like you can see it peeking out in different places, but see how this makes your picture look much more professional and finished. A little tip there from the art master. So now you've got a really cool little print that you could hang in your room. You could try different colors. You could scumble on colors and blend it. There's all kinds of cool things you can do with this to make it even more beautiful. But I hope you guys had fun. We are ending out Nature Week. I can't wait to see you guys next week with our next theme, and I'll talk to you then. Bye. While we were on our nature walk, we scooped up some tadpoles, and I'll try to keep you updated on how they're doing as the weeks go on. Hey, little buddy. Might end up being really fun froggies later on. We'll see.